Hi everybody, and welcome back to the channel and to the Ultimate Racing League and our Sunday evening challenge. We're with the League 3 guys, and we are over at in Japan at Suzuka for race 2. And as you can see, the heavens have opened, and the track now resembles a very small river. So we are into some fun racing now as the guys try and tackle this very technical track. Actually, in the wet, it is like driving on ice. So we will go down the grid, and then we'll get these guys underway, shall we? And we will see what kind of shenanigans we are faced with. So reverse grid, fantastic logo on the back of Phaser's car. I'm loving that. Phaser is on pole position, Enzo Jack is second, Molepiece is third, Pete is fourth, Aussie Rooster is fifth. Then we've got Scott in 6th, Bazza 7th, Frowny is 8th, and Harry Poppins is 9th. Now, it does appear we have lost 2 more. So I think DB is missing, and I shall try and work out who the other one is. I'll work it out as we go along. So unfortunately, we're down to 9 now. So maybe DB was involved in that sushi eating challenge as well, but he's only just it's only just kicked in with him. So hopefully everything's all right with the 2 guys that are missing. But we'll get this second race underway, shall we? And you can see the lap count is correct now. We are at 12 laps. Choice of tyres is entirely up to the guys. Wets, intermediates. If you're brave enough, go softs. I don't think anybody's quite that courageous. As Phaser takes us down towards turn 1, and I'm going to go down the pack a little bit as we enter turn 1, because this is where it's all going to get very interesting as everybody's trying the tyres and the brakes out. Harry Poppins all the way at the back. He's on full wet. We'll have a look and see what the tyre situation is. I would imagine quite a few of the guys are going to be on full wet. We are in the evening, and well, this rain you can see in the skies, it looks like it's here to stay, isn't it? As Phaser leads us out of the S section of the track and into Dunlop Curve. So far the guys coping with the conditions quite well, actually. A lot of spray. In fact, let's jump on board with Aussie Rooster, and you can see, look at the wipers actually doing overtime as Molepiece and Pete almost go side by side. Bit of door bashing as we go into turn 8 and then into turn 9 at Degner. Being very careful on the curbs this time, because they will be really slippy as we head down towards the hairpin. Got a tricky approach to the hairpin because it is on a slight curve, and you've got to put your brakes on before you get there, so technically you're braking while turning. So even harder in the wet, but so far these guys seem to be doing a good job. I'm looking at the top right and seeing that the snake is all pretty much still together. Excuse me. We shall leave Aussie Rooster alone just for a minute as we drop down. So we've got Scott in 6th, and then Bazza in 7th, Frowny, and then Harry Poppins still down there in 9th. Everybody just sort of getting a feel for the car, getting a feel for the track in these conditions before we start any heroics. As we see Frowny making a move on Bazza as they come up through the back stretch up towards 130R at turn 15. Being very careful, you don't want to be drifting too far out to the right. That AstroTurf is going to be really slippy, but Frowny gets the job done and moves up into 7th, so good move from him, using the slipstream well. Well, so far we are not having the shenanigans I thought we would have in these conditions. These guys are making it look quite easy, actually. As Phaser leads the pack across the line down the hill towards turn 1 again. Enzo Jack, though, in 2nd. He's looking at trying to get in front of Phaser and getting hold of this race. Trying to go up the inside, but it's not the best place to make the move there in these conditions. Pete with a half a second. Now, when you're on the wet tyres, it's best to not use the driving line that you would normally use in dry conditions, because talking like I know what I'm on about here, but it's only what I've heard. that when racing in the wet, if you stay off of the racing line, you get more grip. So that's what some of the guys will probably be trying to do, trying to stay off the curbs as well, because the curbs are going to be really slippy. Maltese in fourth then. Aussie Rooster and Scott, they're having a bit of a ding dong there for P5, but Aussie Rooster just managing to hold on to it as they go through turn 9 at Degner, under the bridge, which is the crossover. It's all pretty close together still, so good racing so far in race 2, especially in these conditions. Scott there just ahead of Frowney. Now, not sure what happened to Frowney, because he was challenging for the lead at one point, wasn't he? But Frowney now down in 7th with Bazza and Harry Poppins down in 8th and 9th. So quite a few places being swapped and changed around. I'm sorry we're missing some of them. You can only watch so much at a time. But out in front, Phaser doing a great job at the minute is Phaser. He's on the wet. We said we were going to have a look at the tyres, didn't we? And I'm going to guess that most people are going to be on the wet. Endo also on the wet. Let's just have a quick flick down. Yeah, look, everybody is on the wet tyres, and a good decision. Nobody really brave enough to take on the Inters. It is just a little bit too wet for that. So no change at the top of the minute, although Aussie Rooster having a bit of a look at Maltese as they go into Casio Triangle, as everybody backed up a little bit trying to get onto the brakes to slow down to take that chicane. So some good close racing so far. Aussie Rooster right on the back of Maltese into the slipstream now. Is he going to have a look, or is Maltese going to defend this? I don't think he is. I think Maltese is just content on trying to do his own thing and stay on track. And there we go, yeah. Aussie Rooster quite rightly just backed out at the last minute. It's he didn't want to come in together there, so I think he just eased off, although that's allowed Scott to get a lot closer. So into the S's we go through turns 4, 5, 6 and then 7, and then around around turn 6 and then into 7, which is Dunlop Curve, and you can see that Scott is this way and that, looking for a way past Aussie Rooster. Aussie Rooster concentrating on, well, a few things at once here. As we can see, he's trying to follow Maltese. He wants to stay on track, and he's also got a bit of defending to do from Scott. So these conditions really do test a driver's ability, but like I say, these guys making it look quite easy actually. They're all still quite close to each other. Oh, Scott coming under a bit of attack from Frowney, and Frowney has got by, so Frowney now moves up into 6, Scott down into 7. Look at the spray coming off of those cars. We're going to need a new set of wiper blades at the end of this race. Some good racing so far, and well, no real contact that I've seen. Bazza and Harry Poppins still at the back. Now whether that's a tactical move, I don't know, but Harry Poppins still at the back. He may be just biding his time, waiting for people to go off, waiting for people to make mistakes, maybe just waiting to see if the track starts to dry out. Although having a quick look at the weather radar, it doesn't look like it's going to. So Harry Poppins still down there in 9th, and up at the pointy end and cutting quite a good chunk out of that curve. There is Phaser. Now let's just see if he got away with that. I thought he took quite a good chunk out of that curve, but well, maybe not. No, he's got away with it. So Phaser still out in front, Enzo Jack in 2nd, just behind him. Maltese, he is in 3rd, just leading this little group as the front two just try and open up a bit of a gap. Oh, as Maltese goes very deep into turn 1, recovered very quickly, but that's allowed Pete to get right up behind him now. Now with Maltese and Pete battling away, that's only going to serve to help Enzo and Fazer, because they can start to open that gap a little bit more, and obviously again these two battling is going to hold up everybody behind them. So we may see a little gap opening up between Fazer and Enzo and Maltese and the rest of the pack. Brownie has a look down the inside going into turn 8. Oh, now there was a little touch there, but Pete manages to keep it on track. Brownie just couldn't quite get the car slowed down enough. Just a gentle tap there just to let Peter know he was there as they come up towards the hairpin. Great shot that is of all the cars going around that hairpin. You can see the elevation change as well from the lowest section on the left to the highest on the right, and they're still climbing now as they go through excuse me, as they go through 200R up towards Spoon Curve. Peter having a look at the outside of Frowny just positioning that car to make it even more difficult for Pete to get through. He's not doing anything illegal there, he's just put his car in the middle of the track and sort of says to Pete, if you want it, you're going to have to find a gap. Up the back straight they go with the help of the slipstream, so we might see a little bit of a move now from some of them, or are they all just no, they're all just going to sit there. So it does seem like everybody seems quite happy to just sit behind the guy in front of them. Brownie seems to want to get ahead, he wants to get a move on. Let's have a look, where is he? Brownie in currently in 4th, he does seem to want to get a move on and work his way through the pack. He's desperate to get on that podium, isn't he? Maltese goes defensive, goes to the inside to try and break that slipstream. Frowny is just going to, let's have a drag race then, that's what he says, as he tries to go around the outside at turn 1. Now this could get tricky. Oh, as Frowny gets it done just before they make the turn, so great move from Frowny to get up into P3. Whether Maltese just backed off a little bit there and didn't want to get involved, I don't know, but good move all the same from Frowny. So he's now up into P3. Maltese is in 4th, Peter's 5th, Scott 6th. Then we've got Bazza. Harry Poppins has moved up into 8th with Aussie Rooster in 9th. So Harry Poppins has decided now is his time to pull the trigger and make his way through the pack. Fastest lap at the minute is Bazza on a 2:27. Oh, Fazer out in front has got a 1 second penalty. That is not what he needed. He will be, well, I know what he'll be saying behind the wheel. He will be huffing and puffing and he will be shouting at himself. He's pushing. You can see he's just got a purple sector there. He is pushing and pushing hard, but he's out in front really. He just needs to take his time. It's up to the guys behind to get by. So Fazer just needs to keep the car on track, and I think that's exactly what's not happened. He's broke track limits and he's got himself a 1 second. Now then, we're going to follow Fazer through Spoon Curve, because as he exits turn 14, you can see the bar starting to fill up, and the penalty zone is just going to be up ahead of him as he exits. There we go, up the back straight he heads, and looking at the penalty zone now. Enzo Jack should surely take over the lead of this race. The momentum will just carry him through. Fazer just could not get that car up to speed in time, and he's now going to be coming under the attention from Frowny. So that is so lucky for Fazer. He's having a great race as well, wasn't he, leading this pack? But Enzo Jack now takes over as our race leader. Fazer in 2nd, Frowny in 3rd, then Maltese, then Scott, Pete in 6th, Bazza, Harry Poppins in 8th, somewhere, there he is. And then Aussie Rooster in 9th. Now Aussie Rooster is starting to challenge Harry Poppins. So Aussie Rooster wants that P8 back. Has a look up the inside now as they come down towards turn 1. We'll just stick with these two guys just to make sure they get through it. And I think Aussie Rooster again just backs out. Couldn't get the move done before they reached the braking zone, so Aussie Rooster just backed out to let Harry Poppins keep hold of P8. So some good racing going on at the minute. So let's just go into the middle of the pack, shall we, as Scott in 5th. He's got Molepiece up ahead in 4th. Everybody's still very, very close to each other. Scott just picking up a purple sector as he comes around Dunlop Curve for the 6th time. So we are halfway through this race now, or we will be at the end of this lap, and it is still raining. Very nearly said it. And it's raining very hard still, so no let up in the weather. And if we do get a quick glimpse at the sky, you'll see that it is still very grey, very murky. It is an evening race, but that sky is just, as they say, full of rain. But the guys are doing a fantastic job at the minute. No massive gaps opening, as we see Pete wrestling that Suzuki around 200R at turn 12. This long sweeping right hander which leads us up into Spoon Curve. Oh, Pete drifting a bit too wide there. You do not want to be going on that AstroTurf too often. And then it is onto the back straight and the sprint up the hill towards turn 15. Let's just have a look up at our race leader Enzo Jack, still out in front after that mistake from Phaser, and Frowney has managed to get by Phaser as well. So Phaser, who led for the first part of this race, now down into 3rd. Frowney has moved up into 2nd, and a very, very slight gap opening up from the back of Phaser to Molepiece. So Molepiece, he won't want to let that gap get any bigger. He's going to go pushing a little bit harder, I think, just to try and stay in touch with the front 3, because one mistake from any of the guys in front and he could find himself on the podium, but he does need to stay in touch. Scott trying to do the same as well in 5th. At the minute seems quite content in following Molepiece, and if those two can sort of work together, they can try and get away from the guys behind, and then it'll be a fight to see who gets onto the podium. Nobody's safe at the minute. One slight mistake and it's race over really, as we see Phaser gets a purple sector there as we go around Dunlop at turn 7. We are on lap 7, and yeah, I've got to say that Phaser's got the best looking rear window in the Suzukis, without a doubt, but then again I'm a little bit biased there. So in 4th then we've got Scott. He's being challenged by Molepiece. Then a couple of car lengths gap back to Pete in 6th, although that could all squeeze up now as they go into the hairpin. Bazza trying to take that tighter line. Harry Poppins now having a look at the inside of Bazza and gets the job done. I think they are still side by side. No, Harry Poppins just manages to get that move done. So great racing from Harry Poppins then. Picked his moment, waited till he got to the hairpin, got up the inside of Bazza and then takes P7. So Harry Poppins has now decided now is the time to mount his challenge to get the 2nd win of the day. So up to P7 he goes, and he's got Pete within his sights, although he has now also got Bazza stuck to his rear bumper as they go up through the back straight. Now Bazza's going to be picking up the slipstream as well from Harry Poppins as we approach 130R for the 7th time, although Harry Poppins now manages to hold on to that P7, and he's getting closer to Peter as well. And now they will back up a little bit, as I said before, as they get into Casio and the chicane. And it's all about the exit with this one. If you can get a really good exit, then you can get into the slipstream of the car in front and make your move before you get to turn 1, and that's what Harry's trying to do. Let's jump on board with Harry Poppins, shall we? Just following him around. In fact, we'll sit in the passenger seat, so we're looking over his shoulder. You see him give us that dirty look then, just because we moved seat. So Harry Poppins chasing Peter down now. We're on lap 8. So included this one, 5 laps to go. So if Harry Poppins wants to get his 2nd win, he's really got to start making his way through the pack. as he wrestles that wheel, looking for an opening past Peter. Although this section really is just about getting up close and personal to the car in front, trying to put a bit of pressure on. It's not the best of overtaking opportunities. You may be able to do it here at turn 8 if you can get up at the inside early enough. But I think Harry's doing the right thing here. He's just sitting on the rear bumper of these guys in front of him, and now he's probably thinking about making a move at the hairpin. Although Peter's already decided he's going to stop him doing that. He goes defensive. So all Harry can do is try and get on the brakes a little bit earlier, and I think he's got it done. What a great move from Harry. Took two positions in one move there, exactly the same thing as he did the previous lap. He just got on the brakes just that little bit earlier and got the switch back. So great moves from Harry Poppins up into 5th, Maltby 6th and Pete 7th. So Harry Poppins now on the chase after Scott. And let's see if we can see from this shot. Yeah, you can see the guys up ahead. So he's got at least 3 cars where you will have a look and see where our race leader is and how far. Now there is a little bit of a gap opening up, so Frowney is starting to pull away. Enzo in 2nd. Again, doesn't want to let Frowney get too far away from him. We are running out of laps. Fazer in 3rd. Good race really from Fazer. He did lead for the good part of the first half of this race. Made a slight mistake which allowed the 2 guys in front of him through, but after his penalty. But all the same, he's had a good race so far. I don't want to put the curse on him, but yeah, he's doing well. I would like to see Fazer up on that podium. Scott in 4th, also having a decent race considering the conditions. And then we've got Harry Poppins, who's made his way now from the back, started in 9th, now up to 5th. He left it a bit late really. I thought he was going to mount his challenge a lot sooner than this, but he knows what he's doing, quicker than I am, so you know, he's obviously got a plan. Then we've got Pete, then Bazza, Maltby's in 8th with Aussie. Oh, he's down in 9th with a half a second as well. He doesn't need that. That's just going to drop him off the pace just that little bit. So Frowney around turn 11 at the hairpin, and you can see the gap that he's got back to Enzo Jack in 2nd, Fazer in 3rd and Scott in 4th, so no change there, although Scott looking to try and get P3 away from Fazer as they come up towards Spoon Curve then for the 9th time. We are running out of laps though, so anybody that wants to get up onto the podium really needs to think about doing it quickly. Scott fancies his chances, but there is also Harry Poppins to think about. Currently sitting in 5th, but Scott will be conscious he's there, and he is going pretty quickly as well, is Harry Poppins. So Scott, well, he knows how quick Harry Poppins is, and he'll probably be thinking about trying to make a move on Fazer and try and get Fazer in between himself and Harry Poppins. Fazer on the other hand having a fantastic race so far, and he's got every intention of staying on that podium. He may even be looking at moving up a step as he gets closer to Enzo Jack. As we come down into turn 1 on lap 10, so 3 laps to go. Just got to keep it on the tarmac, guys. But Fazer definitely getting closer to Enzo Jack, and all that battling will just play into Frowney's hands, so he's quite happy to let these guys have a fight behind him. As Scott gets a lot closer to Fazer as well, so with Fazer trying to find an opening past Enzo Jack, it's allowed Fazer to get right up close and personal to Fazer. There was a little bit of a bumper kiss there, I think, nothing too serious. but Scott just letting Fazer know he's there as Scott tries to take the inside line around Dunlop as they go down the hill into turn 8, and then immediately you're thrown into turn 9. Again, don't want to drift too far to the left. Fraser was really pushing his luck there, and I think he may have lost a tenth or two, and yeah, Scott took full advantage. Oh, and Enzo Jack, what happened there? Enzo seemed to get very early on the brakes. We'll just go back and have a quick look at this. As we see Scott go through now, Enzo Jack just seemed to get on the brakes so early, and I think it caught both Fazer and Scott out, but Scott and Fazer both managed to get a decent exit, but yeah, Enzo Jack just seemed to get onto the brakes very early then. As Fazer, oh, he's coming under pressure from Harry Poppins, and Fazer going across the grass again. That's cost him just a tenth or two, and look, Harry Poppins practically pushing him a lot. He's having a good look in the boot, isn't he, Harry Poppins, of Fazer's car. It's all about the exit now as they start on through the back stretch up towards 130R. Harry Poppins would love to get the move done before they get to turn 15. I don't think he's close enough though, so Fazer is going to hold on to P4. What a shame. Couple of mistakes just cost him, and Scott went through. They both nearly come unstuck though at the hairpin when Enzo Jack, well, he just seemed to brake really early, didn't he? Which he can do. It wasn't a brake check. It's up to him when he brakes, but the other two didn't quite expect it, I don't think. As we follow Harry Poppins as they cross the line, chasing Fazer down. Now then, Fazer goes defensive and holds the inside line. Harry Poppins says, I'm not really that bothered, I'll go around the outside if that's the case. And they're going to go around, and Harry Poppins, I think, has just about managed to get it done. Great move from him. Good awareness from Fazer as well, knowing that Harry was there. Put up a fight, but just couldn't stop it. So Harry Poppins now up into P4 as we start lap 11. Now then, is Harry close enough to Scott, or has that little battle with Fazer cost him too much time? Let's just have a look. Where is Scott? Well, you can see Harry Poppins behind him. It's this lap and the next one to go. Although Scott is concentrating on getting past Enzo Jack, so I don't think he's really that bothered what Harry Poppins is doing. Scott is just looking at getting P2 away from Enzo Jack. Frowny has been reeled in a bit. He did have a bigger gap than that, but the guys behind him have started to reel him in, so maybe Frowny is struggling a little bit now under these conditions, being a little bit too safe, and you can definitely see, yeah, the guys have caught him right up, so it's either Frowny has got an issue or he is just struggling. Tyres are not a problem. I think it is just the conditions as Scott tries to go up the inside of Enzo Jack as they go around 200 up towards Spoon Curve. Enzo Jack just holding on to second. Scott really putting in the challenge though, and while these two are fighting, Harry Poppins is getting ever closer. So from the back then, Harry Poppins is seriously thinking about a podium finish now. He can see the three guys ahead of him, and he's just going to apply the pressure. Scott desperately looking for a way past Enzo Jack, and Frowny, well, he's holding on to that number one spot at the minute, but the guys are definitely catching up to him. Although having said that, I think he may have just opened up that gap just a little bit. I think Frowny may have done enough actually. As we go across the line now to start the final lap, and Frowny leads this race. Enzo Jack in second, Scott though right on his tail with Harry Poppins not that far behind him. So yeah, Frowny, if he can stay on the tarmac, I think Frowny secured the win here, but who's going to be joining him on the podium? Well, it could be any one of these three guys. That's provided Frowny does not make a mistake. Fazer in 5th and Pete in 6th. I think they're just a little bit too far behind to think about a podium finish, so now it is just maximising their points Bazza in 7th. Then we've got Aussie Rooster in 8th with Molepiece down in 9th. So the battle really is up at the sharp end. Brownie out in front. Enzo, Jack and Scott side by side as they go around Dunlop. Enzo Jack just having to slot in behind Scott now. Into turn 8. Enzo Jack just trying to nick a little bit of the curb. Try and get an advantage. His teammate Harry Poppins just behind him in 3rd. Now could there be a call from the radio telling Enzo to move over and let Harry Poppins have that podium? Or are they racing separately and there are no team orders? Is Enzo Jack just sticking his fingers up to Harry as he looks behind him and says, "You ain't going by me"? But these two are going to have a proper battle, aren't they, all the way to the end? I think if there were team orders, then Enzo Jack would have moved over by now. So I'm guessing that if Harry Poppins wants to go on the podium, he's going to have to earn it. Enzo Jack is not going to give it to him, although Harry Poppins is in the slipstream. Let's just have a look. Frowny, as I said earlier, I think he's done enough. As long as he keeps it clean through these final few turns, Frowny will take the win. Scott, though, looking good for 2nd. The big question is who is going to be on that 3rd podium spot. And at the minute, it's occupied by Enzo Jack. Back up to our race leader as he goes through the chicane for the final time here at Suzuka. A great race from Frowny under these conditions. Great win for him. Scott will cross the line in 2nd. Enzo Jack does get 3rd with Harry Poppins 4th. Baser across the line in 5th. Pete, he will finish in 6th. Then we've got Bazza across the line in 7th. Aussie Rooster and Molepiece battling to the end. It looks like Molepiece might just get it and take 8th position, with Aussie in 9th with a penalty as well. So unlucky for him. Thank you for joining me. If you've enjoyed these races, please remember to hit that like button. If you've not already subscribed, then do me a favour and do that. I would really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody that has already subscribed. I'm very grateful for that. And I will catch you next week, where we will be over at Trial Mountain for the penultimate race of the season. So, yeah, looking forward to catching you all then.